Hi, it's Warren here from Overexposed 360, and today I'll give you my quick thoughts on the 2017 version of the Samsung Gear 360. Unfortunately, as you can tell, I don't have the 2017 model yet. I haven't got it yet, it's coming in this week, but I did get a hands-on with one recently, so I can give you some of my thoughts on how it compared to the previous model. So first, let's have a look at what the new Samsung Gear 360 2017 model gives us. There's a brand new body and design. The cameras are now dual CMOS 8.4 megapixel f2.2 lens. Video is now recorded at true full 4K 360. That is, it's recording at a resolution of 4096 by 2048. It now takes 15 megapixel 360 photos at a resolution of 5472 by 2736. The new model features live 360 video streaming. It supports up to 256 GB micro SD cards. It has a 1160 mAh battery, and the final big news with the new model is that it now has iOS support. So here's a quick comparison to the 2016 model. Let's run through each of these major changes to the 2017 model and my thoughts on these changes. Firstly, the new design. It has an integrated handle as opposed to the 2016 model, which is just a sphere with a detachable tripod, and that kind of acts as a handle as well. I understand what Samsung's thinking here, especially since the new model now have 360 live streaming capability. Having a good handle is important. However, by having the handle that makes the center of gravity a lot higher and does not open up to a tripod, makes standing the camera upright really unstable and a bit tricky, especially now the lens up the top is a bit top heavy. I mean, I know you can put a tripod to it and you can get it to sit the same way as before, but I prefer to make a better handle for gripping and holding, and somehow have a better integrated option for the record button. Having a record button on the handle is actually really great ergonomically, especially for photos, as it allows you to press the button without playing around with the mobile app. You can just hold it straight up, press the button, and you record a photo, or you can start recording on the video, which is really helpful and handy. But you could get around it, and I have been getting around it with the previous model, either with a timer or with videos. It doesn't really matter that much, because you can simply just edit the first few seconds out, start the recording, put it up there, or mount it which is what I normally would do for my 360 videos anyway. So the other major changes is the size of the sphere itself on the new model. I don't have it, which is unfortunate. Is a lot smaller. So this might be due to the lower resolution quality camera that is Sport, but the good thing about it is that the stitching, from what I've seen so far, seems to be a lot better, because the two lenses are closer together, which means the stitch lines or gap between the lenses are less, and therefore the stitching is much better because you get a more complete view of the 360 from the two camera itself. So just a more detailed look at the cameras on both models. The 2017 models have dual CMOS 8.4 megapixel f2.2 lenses, whereas the 2016 models have 15 megapixel f2.0 lens. The 2017 model can shoot at true 4K videos, 360 videos at 4096 by 2048 at 24 frames per second, whereas the 2016 models shoot videos at slightly lower resolution of 3840 by 1920. But it does shoot at 30 frames per second. The video resolution gain of the new model is welcome, and the higher resolution the better, especially for 360 content. But the drop in frames per second, and it's really just a small increase, doesn't really appeal to me that much. However, the biggest loss in the new model, the 2017 model, is the photo resolution. It is now down to 15 megapixel for the full 360 photo, which is a resolution of 5472 by 2736, as compared to the old model, the original, at 30 megapixel with a resolution of 7776 by 3888. And this is a big decrease of 360 photo quality, and it's disappointing that Samsung have decided to sacrifice this. As I've discussed in previous videos, 4K resolution is nowhere near good enough for 360 content. 4K sounds good, but remember with 360 contents, you're looking all the way around, you've got to cover every single angle. So 4K is not the same as a flat panel TV 4K. So you really need as much resolution as you can in order to get the quality that is needed for a nice looking 360 video or a nice looking 360 photo. So the 30 megapixel image for the 360 stills was great, but I was really expecting the newer model to have even higher resolution for the photo. And I take quite a fair bit of photo, and I really do enjoy the 30 megapixel, and I was really hoping that it would increase rather than decrease. So if you're really after photos, you might be better off purchasing the 2016 model if you're really more keen on getting 360 photos rather than the 360 videos or the live streaming. The highlight of the new Gear 360 is definitely the 360 video live streaming feature that the previous model does not have. And this is something that a lot of users and a lot of you guys watching my videos have asked me whether the old model is capable of doing live streaming. So this is definitely good news for you guys. I didn't actually get to play with this when I had the hands-on with the new model, so I can't really say how good it is. I think the resolution is actually decreased to 2K when it's live streaming, but at the same time it is a welcome addition to the 360 video world. Even though I'm really excited for this feature, I'm not sure how much I'll actually be using this due to the quality and cost of the upload bandwidth that I have access to. So even though this is great and I would love to do 360 streaming videos with you guys, the connection I have is just way too slow from an upstream point of view for me to get any consistent speed with the streaming. So until I get that rectified, or until the cost of that upload bandwidth decrease, I don't think I'll get much use from the streaming. So it's not a big deal for me, but obviously it's different for every user. And for you guys, if you love streaming 360 videos, this is definitely something that you'll need. The Gear 360 2017 model support up to 256GB micro SD cards. The battery is slightly more smaller than the 2016 model, and the NFC option connectivity is completely dropped off from the new model. But all of this is really much of a muchness. It's no big deal here, there's no big impact here. So beside the live streaming feature, the other most exciting new feature of the 2017 model is that it now supports iOS. Yes, you've heard it right. Samsung have come across and allow iOS device to connect and use the Gear 360. This was one of the biggest issues with the 2016 model, as it cut off a huge amount of potential customers for the product. Unfortunately, I haven't really had a chance to play with the iOS version of the app to see whether it locks out any features or not, because one, I don't have the 2017 model of the Gear 360 yet. This week, really, I'm hoping. And the other downside of the iOS version of the app is not backward compatible to allow it to connect to the 2016 model of the Gear 360. So, which is a shame. I was really hoping that Samsung would allow it to be backward compatible with the old model, but not to be. So I will test it out properly and give you a full report on the app and how reliable, how useful, and whether all the features that are in the Android version is in place for the iOS version as soon as I get the 2017 models in my hand for further testing. So which one should you buy if you're looking for a 360 camera, or should you upgrade if you've got a 2016 model already? Okay, this is really hard for me to give you a final definitive answer to without having the unit to have further testing on the quality of the videos and compare all the photos to see what the decrease in resolution really means and impact. But my initial thoughts are that some of the enhancement on 2017 model of the Gear 360 seems like a good idea. The design change kind of makes sense. It is better ergonomics for you to be able to hold the button on the handle for recording. But if you're like me, who mounts and do remote recording, try to stay out of the 360 photo or 360 videos, that button doesn't mean that much to you. But if you're love a crowd shot where you're just holding it up and grabbing a shot, which I do as well, and admittedly, a button there makes that so much easier than having to hold it up and have your other hand mucking around on the phone to try to get a recording going. So that button definitely, that recording button and that integrated handle is definitely welcome, but I'm just hoping there was a better way of making it so it's a lot more stable for it to stand on without using a separate tripod to mount it on that it doesn't provide. It does actually provide me with a little ring type of stand where it's kind of like a rubber ring where you stabilize the Gear 360 on, but I don't think it works very well. It's still very flimsy and the model is still quite top heavy, and I just wouldn't trust it without a much more solid tripod. And looking at the video quality, I do welcome the slightly higher video resolution, but I don't think it's big enough increase for me to sacrifice the 30 frames per second that I'm used to with the previous model, which does come in handy, those extra frames. I currently already upscaled the 360 Gear videos to 4K, and the quality difference is quite small. So I will do further testing and do a comparison to see how much clearer it is. Obviously it will be slightly better, whether that increase is enough for me to justify an upgrade or for you guys to justify an upgrade. I can't say at the moment, but the biggest thing is if you are in the 360 cameras for photos, it's really hard to recommend you to get a 2017 model or to upgrade to the 2017 model, just because it's basically you lose half the resolution from a 30 megapixel to a 15 megapixel 360 photo. The 360 live streaming is definitely a welcome feature, and for a lot of you guys who are really into live streaming and are really keen to play with 360 live streaming, then it's a no-brainer. Then obviously the 2017 model is the one to get, and you will upgrade to it because that's the feature you want. But for me, it's not a deal breaker, not at this point. So I'm comfortable with the older model for the time being. iOS compatibility is a big thing, and it's definitely great that Samsung have allowed the Apple world to use the camera, and it will definitely make them a lot more sales. I can guarantee that. It's a shame that they haven't made it backward compatible to allow the 2016 model to be iOS compatible as well. I don't know why they decided against this, because there's really isn't that much of a difference, I would have thought. The good news is there's the new version of the Android version of the Gear 360 app on the Samsung store, and that is actually backward compatible. I will actually run through how to connect to the old model in a separate video and run through some of the features. From what I've seen so far, it's pretty much one-to-one. There's no real changes there. There's a few changes inside how you access some of the features within the app, and it seems to be pretty stable. Admittedly, the first time I ran it, I couldn't get it to connect properly, but it seems to be working quite well. However, I have to say the biggest disappointment I have with the new version of the Gear 360, and it's one of the biggest things on my wish list, which I will still put out for the 2018 model, because there's a lot of things that Samsung haven't addressed in the current new 2017 model, is the support, and they haven't improved the design of the lens cover. Well, the design itself is actually, I've got no issue with the design itself. It's actually really easy to screw out the lens, so you can actually replace it quite easily. Unfortunately, Samsung have not made the parts of the lens cover available, or have they been willing to repair it for users, which is really a pain, because if there's a slight scratch on the lens, which happens when you're mounting it, it's going to drop. It's going to fall down once in a while, and that lens is quite exposed, unlike a normal standard camera lens where it's kind of covered and shielded a little bit. They do bulge out, being fish lenses, and you will scratch them, you will smash them, and I've got a scratch on this one right now actually, and it's been a pain because it's noticeable in the photos, it's noticeable in the videos, and unfortunately Samsung hasn't come to the party with allowing users to fix it, change it, or helping us in getting us parts to fix it ourselves. So I'm hoping the 2017 model would allow us the ability to change the lens or fix the lens, the lens cover, that is, not the lens itself, pretty readily and easily, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like they are going to do that. Hopefully they'll provide better support from the terms that if users have scratched the lens, they can take it in for repairs. Who knows how much it will cost. I have to say I haven't been a big fan of the Nikon Key Mission 360 camera from the quality point of view and from the app point of view, but at the same time, the best thing about the camera is how the lens cover works. It's completely user replaceable. They've got user accessories as parts. They know that it's definitely something that will get damaged, and they know that users will be using cameras in a way that it will get scratched. So they have designed in a way where it's so easy to change and interchange, where users are willing to use the camera in places where they may not with this camera, because they know it's extremely hard to get it fixed once you've damaged it. So I guess that will go on my wish list again on the 2018 model of the Samsung Key 360. Hopefully I'll get my 2017 model of the Samsung Key 360 in the next few days. I'm hoping today, but hopefully this week. And I'll post up another video with a more detailed review. Until then, please subscribe and ask me any questions you may have, or you might want to know, or you want me to answer, or you want me to cover it in future videos. And until then, I'll see you in the next videos. Thanks for watching.